Whitney steered her sleek black Porsche convertible around the steep bend as she had done 1,000 times before. However, she had never been on this part of Hollywood Hills. The irritability that had been building up inside her all day suddenly drained away. Wow, it was beautiful. What a glorious sight! She had seen so many properties in the last few months. Colin had refused to come today, preferring to stay at the studio finishing the film. Oh, he had said, he needed to oversee today's shoot. She knew that was an excuse. They had been looking for months. However, Whitney knew it had to have the wow factor. It had to talk to her, let her know it was for her. As she slowed down, the small road on the near side just seemed to draw her. Turning into it, she saw and felt the house. A long driveway swept up to the door and back down the other side to the gates. Tennis courts, swimming pool. The grounds appeared to go on forever. Another path led down to the lake. Several bungalows were scattered around the grounds. Approaching the house, she noticed the jeep. 2 men were standing nearby. Whitney turned into the drive, down to where the men were standing, causing dust to spray everywhere from her car tires. Both men turned and looked, watching this tanned, slim, long-haired, blonde beauty as she flew out of the car door. Seemingly from nowhere, she now stood in front of them. "Is this your house?" she asked the nearest guy. "Yes and no, honey. We're giving it the..." Whitney stood stock still. Now taking a closer look, she noticed that, although very beautiful, it was rather derelict. "Do you mind if I have a look around inside?" He looked at his workmate, he smiled. "It's okay with me. Okay with you, Chuck?" The other man, who was obviously Chuck, nodded. "But I think it would be better and safer for us to go in with the young lady, don't you?" "My name is Chuck. My partner there is Bruce. We'll take you in." "Thank you. Yes, I guessed your names when we were talking. I'm Whitney." She was off into the house, hardly waiting for her guides, flashing through the rooms, gliding on air. She felt as though she knew each room before she entered it. It felt like home. She could see how splendid it had been, see it as it had once looked. She seemed to be getting photo flashes from the past. Whitney felt the house speak to her. Flushed with excitement, she turned to Bruce. "I want this house. Please don't knock it down. I want to buy it and restore it." Bruce looked at Chuck. Chuck scratched his head. His blue eyes were searching the face of this beautiful blonde. "Did you grow up here? You seem to know it." "No, but it's like it's mine. It's kind of calling out to me." "Look," Chuck said, looking over at Bruce. "My partner and I tried selling. It's been on the market for getting on 2 years. We sold all but 3 of the surrounding bungalows. The house, well, no takers. We're gonna rebuild here." "No, no, please, please don't," Whitney cried. "Let me get my fiancé on the phone. I want him to see it, so I must have the house." "It's too late. I'm afraid it's all planned out. The bulldozers are coming in, then the building will get started," Chuck replied. Whitney felt the house call out to her. "Help me! Please, help me!" She looked at Bruce. "Please, let me phone Colne." Bruce looked at Chuck, who was kicking dirt. "Shit," he mumbled, then said aloud, "You know how I hate messing with plans. Hate delays." Turning back to her, after a nod from Chuck, he said, "Okay, young lady, make your call. But remember, we are not promising anything." Holding her mobile, she waited to hear Colne's voice. She could swear she heard a sigh of relief from the house. "Hello, Colne, darling. I found it. I found our house." She shook her head. "But you have to come now. You see, there is a problem." Colne hesitated. "Baby, I want that you should find the house because you said you won't marry me until we find the house. And every day I have without you is a year. But, honey, I can't call it a wrap at the moment. Please, please, Cole, if you love me, you'll come. You see, we have a fight on our hands. They don't want to sell, so it has to be now. Whitney, baby, of all the houses we have seen, you have to pick the only one they don't want to sell. Oh, baby. Cole, if you really want to marry me, you will get here, because I want this house more than I ever wanted anything but you. All right, baby, you win. I'm on my way. It was only 15 minutes, but it seemed to Whitney forever. She paced up and down under the watchful eye of Bruce and Chuck. Cole swung his bright yellow Lamborghini open-top sports car alongside Whitney's car. Jumping out over the car door, he looked up at the house. Whitney flew over, rushing into his arms. Looking beyond Whitney, he saw the two men. "Chuck McAllister," said the blond guy, shaking Cole's hand. "This is my partner, Bruce Wallace." He shook Cole's hand. "Hi, glad to meet you, Chuck and Bruce." Cole smiled at Bruce. "I'm Cole Harrington. I believe you've already met my fiancée, Whitney Angel Sims." Both men grinned, nodding their heads. Bruce asked, "The film star?" "We thought we had seen you somewhere before." Chuck laughed, rubbing his forehead. Cole turned to face Whitney. "God,